Okay, so in today's session, we will do the mind map of the chapter 1 geography, that is the resource and development, and this video will be helpful in your exam. So let's start with this. So first of all, what is resources? So resources means the everything which is available in our environment, right? And we can use it to satisfy our needs, right? Now, how can we classify it? So first, now we will discuss the classification of the resources, right? So we can classify the resources among different ways, like on the basis of origin, right? And on the basis of origin, it can be biotic and abiotic. After that, we can classify resources on the basis of exhaustibility, right? And according to the exhaustibility criteria, we have another two types, that is renewable and non-renewable, right? Then we are having the classification of resources. Another type is that on the basis of ownership, right? So according to the ownership, it can be individual or it can be means the community or national, or we are having that is the international, right? That means the resource means can belong to the a single person, right? And can belong to a group of person, that is community, or can belong to one nation, or can belong to whole world, that is all the countries, right? And then we are having another type, that is, yeah, status and development. Okay, status and development. Under that, we are having potential, that the resources which are potential enough to grow the economy of the country, right? How much it is developed, or reserve and the stock. Okay, so now see from where we can obtain the biotic resources. We can obtain it from our biosphere, right? That means lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, right? An example can be fisheries, forest, human beings, right? They have life and are living resources. Okay. Then comes our abiotic. So abiotic consists all the things which are non-living. Okay, example like rocks, minerals, right? Then we are having renewable resources. Now in renewable resources, which can be renewed, correct? Which we can renew or we can reproduce it by physical, chemical, or the mechanical processes, right? So these are the replenishable resources. Example, we are having water, wildlife, solar energy, wind energy, tidal energy, right? These all are under renewable. After that, we are having non-renewable. Now, non-renewable resources, which once get exhausted, cannot be remade. We can't remake it, right? Cannot be remade. Okay, and they take a long geological period of time, like millions of years in the formation. Example, fossil fuels. Okay, example, fossil fuels. And then we are having individual, that means owned by individual, right? Community resources which are accessible to all the members of the community, example parks, playground. Then national resources, like resources which belong to the nation, like roads, railways, right? International examples which means they can be utilized by whole world, like ocean water, right? Then potential resources, these are found in a region but not in use, right? For example, solar energy in Rajasthan and wind in Gujarat. Means Rajasthan and Gujarat are the two countries which are potential enough in wind and the solar part, right? But Yeah, example is that, but the main thing is that due to lack of development, the resources is not in use. Then we are having stock. That means resources are available, right? But do not have appropriate technology to access, like lack of technical know-how to use hydrogen and oxygen as resource of energy, right? Then we are having reserve. That means subset of stock, and we can use it for future need. We are reserving the resource right now and we will use it in the future part, right? For example, we made dams, right? Then after that, this is the whole thing. Then we are having sustainable development. Okay, so in sustainable development, see, what is sustainable development? First of all, we need to understand about that thing. So it means that development should take place without damaging the environment, right? Without damaging the environment, right? And means and development in the present and should not compromise the needs of future generations. So that is a sustainable development. Okay, so we should not compromise with the needs of future generation. Okay, after that, if we classify the relief features in India, right, so we are having 43% plain area and 30% mountains and 27% are plateaus. Okay, then comes the land degradation part. So this is also the important part in this chapter, right? So what is land degradation? Now see, means if we are using the land again and again, right? Continuous use of land over a long period of time, over a long period of time, without taking appropriate measures to conserve and manage the land, right? Now, how can we solve the problem of land degradation? What are the solutions to it? So, first solution can be like afforestation. We can grow more and more trees, right? Then comes the proper management, proper management of grazing to control overgrazing, planting of shelter belts of plants, right? For grazing, means the proper management of grazing. That can be the second point. And the third can be the stabilization of sand dunes. Stabilization of sand dunes, right? By growing thorny bushes, or we can say by controlling mining activities. So question can be asked from this part as well, like that what is land degradation and what are the ways to solve the land degradation, right? So there can be, means you have to write down the first of all definition of land degradation, then you have to write down the solutions of it. Now the next solution it can be that avoid over irrigation. Okay, right, and avoid overuse of fertilizers and pesticides because it affect the pH level of soil and also affect the underground water, right? Now let's move to the next part. So next part it can be that what is soil erosion, right? What is soil erosion? Now the denudation of the soil cover, of the soil cover and subsequent washing down is soil erosion. Okay. Now, what are the reasons for it? What are the reasons for the soil erosion? So, it can be like deforestation. That means we are cutting so many trees, right? Deforestation is there. Grazing, construction, right? Then mining, and also we can say that the natural forces, like natural forces like wind, right? Glaciers, on the water flow. So this can be the reason for the soil erosion, right? Now, types of erosion. What are the types of it? So types can be first gully erosion. That means the running water cuts through the clay soils and makes deep channels known as gullies, right? So it makes the land bad land, right? And we are having the sheet erosion. Next type is sheet erosion. That means when topsoil of the large area is washed away. So that is the sheet erosion. Now, what are the methods to prevent soil erosion? So methods can be first that by plowing along the contour lines, right, and terrace cultivation in mountain areas, strip farming, and the shelter belt. Because soil erosion is mainly can be seen in the hilly region, right? What happens sometimes when we over means when the water flow. So what happened? The topsoil erode away, right? The top soil of the crust erode away. So that can be these are the methods to prevent the soil erosion. Now we will study the last topic, that is the soils and its type in this chapter. And from this part, mainly MCQ come in the examination, right? So the first type, it can be the alluvial soil. Okay. Now under alluvial soil, see basically it is found in northern plain. Okay, it is found in northern plain, and it is high in humus. Okay, and one more thing, that it is fit for agriculture purpose, right? It is rich in potash, phosphoric acid, and we can say in lime. Okay, and it is best suitable for rice, for wheat. Okay, then we are having next, that is black soil. Now black soil is also known as regular soil, right? It is also known as regular soil. It is famous for growing cotton. Okay, it is basically found in plateaus, uh, in Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh. Okay, and it is made up of the clay material, right? So it is clay in nature. Wait, let me. Yeah, so it is clay in nature, and it is rich in calcium carbonate and magnesium, potash. Okay, so now next type is red and yellow soil. Red and yellow soil. Now red and yellow soil, that means it is found in the low rainfall region, right? In the eastern and the northern parts of Deccan Plateau. So low rainfall region. Okay, and it is basically useful in making bricks. Yep. And one more thing, um, it has a red color because of the diffusion of iron, right? Then we are having laterite soil. So laterite soil, it is developed in areas with high temperature, means the high temperature and high rainfall is there. Okay. It is basically found in the Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, right? Madhya Pradesh, Odisha. Okay. It has means the mm, adequate doses of manures and fertilizers as well, but it is having low humus content. Okay. Then we are having next, that is arid soil. Arid soil. So it is basically found in Rajasthan and some parts of Gujarat, right? And it lacks in humus, okay, and moisture as well, right? It is having a salt content, right? And the next type is our forest soil. So it is basically found in hilly and mountainous areas, right? And also it is having loamy and silty type of gradients, right, in the upper slopes. It is having multiple flora and fauna. Okay. So this is all for this chapter. So we have studied about the soils and its types, and we have studied about the soil erosion part, right? And we have also studied about the land degradation. We have studied about the sustainable development, and the main thing, that what are the classification of the resources, right? So that thing we have studied in this chapter. I hope that you have found this video useful. Thank you, and please subscribe the channel.